Hey everyone, it's Melissa, and I finally finished my Graphic 45 Christmas Past album. So, I thought I'd share it with you. Um, as I said, it's the Graphic 45 Christmas Past, and I'm sure you recognize on the cover the frame. This is one of the dollar frames from Michaels, and what I did, it started off gold, and then I used antique white acrylic paint and then went back with the Tim Holtz gold dauber paint. And this is the vintage glass glitter that I put in this little recessed area, and I used glossy accents for that. And then this is just one of the Santas off one of the papers. And this is Prima Bling that I just cut apart and put on. And right here are the vintage bingo chips. I rubbed the top very lightly on an ink pad. I think I used chestnut roan, it doesn't matter what color. And then I used pirate gold embossing powder and embossed them so that they would come up gold. Now, y'all know the binding, those of y'all who've seen the original video when I was just putting the book together. Underneath here, inside, I did Tracy's Treasures 24. I did her expandable binding. And thank goodness, Tracy, I just love this binding. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know I've mentioned you before, but I'm just in awe of this binding. Now, this is not a functioning binding. This is just to cover up the inside. Grunge paper, ran it through my Cuttlebug, and I cut the edge. Actually, I punched the edge with Tim Holtz on the edge die, one of his dies. And then I used the gold dauber again, got Tim Holtz dauber paint, the Ranger dauber paint, and I went back with some, I think vintage photo or some kind of ink just to make it look a little bit, ooh, that glitter's horrible, sorry. I wanted it to look, you to be able to see the embossing a little bit better. So, and a trick that I learned, you're going to be able to see the inside of the grunge board, so make sure that you paint the inside also. I've used grunge board many times on bindings, like it looks like this, but it's not the expandable binding. And I always paint the inside edge at least because you can see that. Okay, the first page, I used a piece of crafting plastic, and I know I talk about this plastic all the time. I'm going to show y'all the pad. Now you can use, a lot of times I also use packaging and such, but this is the actual pad I'm referring to when I say I use crafting plastic. It's this. And I got this at Michael's, but I realized that they're not carrying it anymore, and I'm almost halfway through my pad. But it's Graphics brand, so I'm going to have to look that up online. And I think there's like 25 sheets in here, and it's thin, but it's heavy enough. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about when I say I use crafting plastic, unless I otherwise specify that I'm recycling. You can't see it, but there is a pocket made out of crafting plastic here, and I used a Tim Holtz die to cut the edge, and on the edge die. I think it's the plaque edge. And that's my pocket because I wanted to be able to see the beautiful paper behind this. So I made my pocket with the crafting plastic and then just made a tag, cut my picture with the EK Success corner punch, one of the EK Success corner punches, and then I used the basic gray paper on the back. And this is that wire that I love to use, and I just made a double swirl and put bling on both sides of the swirl, and that's what's holding my button on the front. On this page, I just made another little mini book inside of a book. Behind it, I left it open so that I could put a tag, and this is the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas poem. This is one of the punch outs from the punch out sheet that goes with the Christmas Past paper, and I just used twine and a black safety pin to hold that button on. I used a magnet with a Tim Holtz grunge board thing right here, and I just made a booklet inside of a booklet. So I had to find inventive ways to fit a lot of pictures on each page because I had quite a few pictures. This is just red and green bling with some fiber behind it. And by the way, this is a white chipboard dollar spot book that I used to make this album. Used chestnut roan ink to color the tabs, and you can see the binding. And on this page, again, I wanted to highlight the paper because I love the advertisement paper. It's just wonderful. And I didn't want to hide that, so I made pockets with the crafting plastic once again, and I used Stays On brown ink, maybe saddle brown or timber brown, I'm not sure, and made the 2 triangular pockets. And you can see these better because I inked them. Another piece of the paper that I just cut out, this is a Sizzix stamp frame die. This is a really old die and I use it a lot. And then of course I put the picture of Santa with the Christmas tree behind it, and then more crafting plastic on the top. And this one says presents to give. And then I just made tags and journaling spots on the back. And I thought this button kind of mimicked the houndstooth pattern. Looked like a old 50s coat button. So I stuck that on there, and I just did several large tags. And this houndstooth is not from the Christmas collection, Christmas Past collection. I can't remember what Graphic 45 collection it's from. But that's my daughter's favorite pattern in fabric is houndstooth, so that's why I chose this for these particular pictures. And then I just made smaller tags for this side and used my wire again and twisted it and made a double swirl. And then on the back, where it stuck up, I made another half a swirl and cut it with my snips, and so it looks like it's just a double-sided swirl when in actual fact it's 1.5. And put some cabochon little bead things at the top. Made a journaling spot, cut out a piece of this actual paper and put on one side, and then a journaling spot on the back. And on this one, just use some seam binding and some twine. On this page, I made a pocket page. And I had a very exciting thing happen right before Christmas. My daughter and her now fiance, her boyfriend, asked her to marry him right before Christmas on their 2nd anniversary. So it's a very exciting Christmas. We're going to have a wedding next December 17th. So I just made a large tag for their photo, and he's pointing to her ring. It's so cute. And I haven't journaled on the back. I think I'm going to let her journal on the back, journal the story of the proposal. And so I just cut out 2 pieces of glitter paper, punched circles, and then put some of the punch outs off the punch out page for the Christmas Past collection in the center of them to make a pull tab. Oh, and this is the American Crafts, that really heavy duty glitter paper. And this is just another large tag. And my little printer, I'm sure a lot of y'all have the little personal printers. It prints out the 2 pictures this size on one sheet of 4x6 paper. And instead of cutting them apart, what I did is I used my circle punch and made it look like a ticket, and then backed it on a piece of cream paper, inked everything, and then mounted it on this paper, this tag actually. And I punched 2 holes with my crocodile and ran this seam binding through the middle so I didn't have to cut the pictures apart. So they're still actually together the way they came out of the printer. And then on the back, a journaling spot. I think this is a K & Company journaling spot. And these are K & Company, the chipboard stickers. I can't remember what collection they're from, but they are a little bit too bright, so I used a lot of tea dye ink and walnut ink and vintage photo ink throughout the whole book. Has those 3 inks on it. But I used a lot of the ink on the K & Company chipboard stickers to antique them. They're vintage, but I needed the color to be knocked down some. My pocket is just 2 EK Success border punches. One is the stamp edge punch and the other one, I don't know what this one's called. And just layered those to make the pocket. More seam binding, Prima flowers with a K & Company Love chipboard sticker. And then on this page, I just made this is the Tim Holtz die back here. Some Martha Stewart bling here. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but I made tabs out of the crafting plastic and it looks like a top note. I'm pretty sure y'all can't see that. But I just made another little booklet and then a journaling spot behind it. And this is to keep it closed because it does flop open when you turn the page. Now on this page I used, I got this stamp, the postcard stamp at Michael's. And I stamped out the stamp, cut it out, obviously distressed the edges a lot, rolled some over. This is one of the punch outs from the paper, and then just used one of the Tim Holtz, I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway, put that on the 25 so it would just really emphasize the date. And then I made yet another little booklet, but this is another little accordion book. And a little journaling spot here. And then I took some of the brown wire and just made a doodah. I love this wire. I use it all the time. I know I probably overuse it, but I just, you know how it is when you find something you love. And then I hung some of the Maya Road chandelier drops that I alcohol inked with red and green. I think it's celery green and I forgot what the red is. And on this page I made a slider. This is one of the K & Company chipboard pieces again, and so is the mistletoe right here. And I put on the front of my slider the little key poem, and I don't know if some of y'all know this and some of y'all might not, but if you have children and you haven't heard of this, I have a really pretty Santa key, which I'm waiting for grandchildren to use it. It says, "Take this magic key and hang it from your door so tight. Santa's on his way to you in his sleigh with presents too. He'll tiptoe in and not missing a house. Jolly old guy, quiet as a mouse. Whisper magic and joy in each child's ear. Come deliver holiday cheer." So for those of you who don't have a fireplace and you have a child, you can they have the keys out there and they're really big and they have Santa Claus. They're beautiful actually, and they have bling all over them, and you hang it by your door so Santa can get in. So anyway, I just think they're so fun. And then this is my slider, the picture of my daughter and her fiance, and another place for her to journal, or for me to journal. I haven't decided who yet. And then on this page I made just a little gatefold book, plain and simple. I made a belt and I thought it was such a cute idea. Let me just make this belt with a little D-rings, like a real belt, belt. And let me just tell y'all, it is a pain in the bottom to get opened and closed. So I don't know how often it'll be closed right, but it's cute. So a piece of grunge board that I cut out. And I've had this cut out for so long, I don't remember what cartridge I cut it from. Some Recollections halfback brown pearls. And these corner pieces right here are made out of this plastic that my friend Molly gave me. It's this stuff, and I alcohol inked it. Just cut a 1.5 inch square, cut it in half, made the triangles. I took a circle punch and cut the center of the triangle, and then I took my scissors and made that curve shape. Then alcohol ink in red and bronze. So let me undo the belt here. And it really is an actual working belt, but it's just hard to get into. And then I wanted again to preserve the paper to be able to see it, so I didn't really put anything on the inside or the outside. And just made a little flip up for this page. And then on this page, you can't see it at all, but there is another one of the crafting plastic pockets, and this one I cut out the Tim Holtz use the Tim Holtz edge, the same one I used on my grunge paper binding. And because I wanted to highlight this beautiful Santa Claus. It's the same one that's in the frame on the front, but full size. And then I cut the edges out and inked and such. And used the terrifically tacky tape and the 1/8 inch to hold the pocket down. And then cut out each one of the really pretty pieces and made tags out of each one. And inked them, and I'm going to put a little journaling spot up here too. And then the last page, which y'all have all seen, those of you who saw this in the making, in the beginnings, my little my window with the snow in it. The only thing I did differently was add this chipboard piece. And I don't know if y'all saw this the first time I showed the video when I was putting this together. I did the little Santa with the torn paper up here, the Santa peeking out of the torn paper. So anyway, I hope y'all like it, and if anybody has any questions, be sure to ask. And one more thing, let me show y'all my bling hanging. The Tim Holtz swivel clasp is just, I have got so much junk on here and I love it. My friend Denise that I scrapbook with gave me a silver snowflake. She collects Santa Clauses, by the way, and a Santa. And there's one more, there's an angel on here. She gave me all of these to put on my jump ring. Aren't they so cute and sweet? And then, of course, the Tim Holtz. This one says Moments. And this one says Believe. I'm sure y'all all recognize these. And then I raided the mini ornament aisle at Michael's before Christmas and got mini ornaments and put those on jump rings. The star and the light bulbs. And I just clustered 3 small bells on a jump ring and put them on there. So I love the way that came out. It's just so full. And then on this one, this is one of the Tim Holtz keys, and it says Memory. And then I took one of his, I cannot believe I can't remember what these are called. Anyway, it's Tim Holtz fragment. Okay, I took a fragment and put a piece of the paper behind it and glossy accented it. And then on the opposite side, put one of the K & Company stickers and put a Tim Holtz button on one of his pins. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. There's a pin, one of his little pins. And that's how the tag is hanging off of his ball chain. I used the ball chain to hang the key on. So anyway, and then just a lot of brown, gold, and cream color tulle, some velvet ribbon, some lace that I sprayed with sand and Vanilla Breeze Glimmer Mist, and another piece of ribbon. And that's my book. I hope y'all enjoy it. If you have any questions, just ask. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry the video is so long. Bye.